Well, welcome back to Amateur Fix It. I wanted to make this introduction before the video, just to let you know that this is going to be a three-part series. I ran into a few roadblocks. I had kind of issue with the power supply, which is an AT, so I did order a part so I could go from an ATX to an AT. So I'm hoping that'll work. I just need to get a hold of an ATX. I was having a hard time finding an AT power supply. Other issue, my hard drive failed. So instead of getting a hard drive, I did purchase a card that should be able to run from an ID with an SD card. So as far as the repair is going, had some successes. I've had quite a few failures too. A lot of it's for my lack of knowledge of what I'm doing. I'm kind of doing this as I go, stopping, doing some research, coming back. So it's like a real stop and go process. That's part of the reason the videos are taking a little bit longer than I thought, because I'm spending, no complaints or anything like that, but I'm spending 3 to 4 hours trying to get to where I'm at, and I don't want to make a video too long, so trying to cut them down so they're watchable. I know we all don't have a lot of time on our hands to sit there and watch a 2 or 3 hour video to try to get everything done. So I'm trying to make some decent content. I do want to say that I have had some successes though, and you can see this in the video as we go for this part 2. The first 5 or 10 minutes of it is soldering bodge wire, so I try to speed up that section for you so you don't have to painstakingly watch me through it all. So overall though, I feel pretty comfortable with how it's going. I would hope that I would be a little farther along than I am, but a lot of this is real new to me. I'm sure you can tell that. I think it's all part of the learning process of trying to understand. I created this channel to, number one, push myself. Let's let know that, things aren't as quick and easy and smooth as edited videos on YouTube. They are obviously people that have a lot more knowledge than me and are a lot quicker than I am. But, the average person, when you want to get into this, it is a kind of just all a learning process. And I feel like, most people can do this if they want to and they want to take the time to learn. I think when we're repairing anything, you're going to have, some ups and downs, and that's kind of what makes it fun for me to try to expand my knowledge of repairing older systems. I hate to see these things get tossed away. Like I said, a lot of these are coming from a friend who's got an e-waste company, and I'm salvaging them and trying to get them back to life. I think there's a lot of memories of my past of having these older systems too that, again, kind of my dream with this one is to put Windows 3.1 on, throw some Doom in, and have some fun with it. So without further delay, let's start with the video, and thank you for watching. Okay, so here's a close-up of what I've got. And this is flip-flop of what you see. That's to match this diagram from Eric Kenny. So thank you, Eric. I hope this gets me where I need to be. I'm going to add a little bit more solder. And once I get the multiplexer, I'll add that. I do have to run the battery still. But then we might be close. Wish me luck. While I'm waiting on the multiplexer to come in, I decided to order some masking with the UV. Because I did these bodge wires and have some open traces, I didn't want anything to short out or bridge. So, and also I have these wires here, and I've had a couple of issues where I had basically they had a couple issues where when I moved the board around, it was loosening those up and had to resolder. So what I'm going to try to do is, first time with this, is use some of this UV glue. This UV masking, and see if I can get these a little better and a little more secure. I have been told to do this really lightly. This stuff will not dry very easy if you don't. So I'm going to try to do exactly what they say. So I'm going to apply the mask, and then they did come with this neat little nifty brush. So hopefully bring this up a little bit. You can see this, and I can lay this masking back down. I'd rather do this in real thin layers. This will save me in the long run. If you do real thin layers, it'll dry better, and it'll actually dry at all. So I've had read some places that if you don't do that, if you use too much, put it on too thick, that it will not dry. Alright, so here's this handy light. Let's see what happens here. This is basically just a UV light that's designed to be able to, I guess what happens with this masking material, once the UV light hits it, it dries it. So we will give this a whirl. Looks like it's actually drying pretty quickly. Within about 35 seconds. Okay, turn that off. I'll try a little bit more on these parts here that are. I know this isn't really like a glue, it really is just the masking, but I just want to make sure that it actually hardens up and gives me a little more support. I've had to touch these up a couple times, like I said earlier, and resolder, and I just don't want to do that anymore. I'm just going to touch it and see. Yeah, it's dried. Still feel like I need to be careful with it. I'll try to do a little heavier on certain spots, just on these joints here. That's probably way too much on that one. But I'm hopefully that because I'm doing these in layers, that I do get what I'm asking for here. Let's try this again. Well, looks like it's dried. Okay, so now I'll wait for the multiplexer and move on from there. All right, the day is here. I just got my the multiplexers from DigiKey, so I'm going to open the pack and hopefully they are the right ones for what I ordered. Now I ordered these. They came in like 70 cents a piece. If you bought multiples of 10, I think it went down to 50 cents. So shipping wasn't that much different. So I bought 10. Couple reasons. Number one, if I screw one or two of them up, hopefully I don't, but I have extras, and then I can always store them. I don't know if I'll ever use them again, but figured what the heck. So see what we got. Well, here they are, all 10 of these bad boys. Yeah. Okay. Looks like I ordered them as on a tape too. I don't know. I was trying to figure out what the roll on the tape was. I guess this tape's just on obviously a long tape. So there's 10 of them there, so we're going to move on from here. So here's what I've got. This is the goal is to get one of these to mount on the board here that I have all the bodged wires connected to. I will say I'm a little nervous. I did a lot of work. I'm afraid I'm going to mess these up. Not There's a high possibility it could happen. I'm afraid of bridging. I'm not again, kind of new at soldering, so getting a little bit better. I did some practicing, but not on this particular chip or on this particular board. If you see really closely, it's not doing a great job. So that's my soldering work, which I said was kind of an abomination. Kind of works, kind of didn't. I did get some heat tape to put around it. So my plan is to tin flux and then tin this chip, place it on the board, use a heat air gun, air station, and have it mount to the board. Now my fears are that I could have too much solder, not enough solder. You guys that are experts at this probably already know that I'm making a huge mistake, but I did go back through and try to clean these up the best I can. I want to make sure the bridging's my biggest concern. So my hope is if I flux the chip and tin it, flux this, flux the board with all the bodge wires connected, put this on top, use an air gun, that it will attach without bridging. So again, that is my hope. Or I'll go back to show you the Eric Kinney drawing. That's really how all these wires are running. So I've got multiple wires, bodge wires running. Sometimes it's actually to the chip. Sometimes it's to traces that I could mount to. I've put some through the vias through the back side because like some of these will connect to a chip on the other side of the board. So like one of these wires connects to this chip. This here, I took a little bit of masking. I scraped off a little bit of masking and I mounted the solder, or so I mounted the bodge wire to that spot there, so I didn't have to run all these to chips. These three wires here are the ones that I worked on earlier. I guess at this point I'll start the tinning process on the chip, and we'll go from there and cross our fingers. So the hope is that I can get this working without any bridging, but without any more delay, let the games begin. basically put it back in, fluxed it, used a hot air gun, and put this capacitor back in. And I'm not sure if it's going to be the right size. I try to match it up with the ones that are around. I've read that I couldn't find any schematics on these, so I read if the ones around there are like the color-wise and size-wise, that should work. So I don't know. So we'll see if that ends up being a problem. We'll go back in there and I'll have to replace that. Drum roll, please. So I've got the power supply set up. I've got the card in, chip in. I've got it attached to the hard drive, so it's got a load to it. All right. Now before we get anything on this, let me bring this down. I'm gonna fire it up. Don't get any smoke. I'm just not giving up yet. Let me see what this code means. Okay, I should have trusted my gut feeling with this. Back in the day when this would happen, I thought it would be a RAM issue, and I think that's, from what I'm finding out, that's what this is. So it looks like I'm going to have to do a little more probing around on this unit and see if I can find out if the RAM's working. And this is the onboard RAM here, so I should not have a problem with it. Of course, I don't have anything in the stick. I thought about putting one in there just to see if these are bad, but I think I'll need to take these out and test them and see what we need to do to move forward. But overall, I'm pretty excited. I've got some life. I've got something to move forward, and I'm thinking my bodge wire system didn't bodge it up. So, okay, well, I'll keep going on this. Okay, so I think I'm going to do is try to get down here and test. So this is the underside of where, see if that comes in clear. This is underside of where all the RAM is. And I did notice a few of these could have got some damage. So what I'm going to try to do is move a little bit of the mask on that and test to see if there's continuity, so the RAM's actually getting where it's supposed to go. See if there's any continuity between these. That's what's running underneath the RAM chips. Try that. Looks like that's working okay. Let's go on to the via here and see if, just to make sure that's in good shape. Yep, so that's working. Okay. Really not seeing. No, the same error code. Okay. Guess we're gonna have to start looking at the RAM. See what's going on with it. This will kind of show you where the wire I redid. I bodge wire the bodge wire, I guess, but I thought that would take care of it. So I'm gonna have to look at this RAM. I'm gonna look at this some of these chips and see if I can find anything else out on it. I also don't have a battery hooked up, but from what I've read, you'll still get something on the screen. I'm gonna try a keyboard. I know it sounds silly, but let me give that a shot. I really doubt this has anything to do with it, but let's give it a whirl and see. No. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll have to go back to the drawing board a little bit on this and see what I can come up with. Okay, so I was working on trying to find out what the RAM wasn't working, and then I noticed some of the bodge wires were actually soldered real well to the multiplexer. And went back in, it became a lot more difficult. So I decided to take the multiplexer back off, redo it, and redo some of these wires. I got some wires that are hot that had melted from the soldering irons because I kept going back and forth, and then I had bodge wires coming loose. So I still have a pretty good idea of where I'm at, more than I did when I started, but I am not close to where I wanted to be. I wanted actually the soldering of the bodge and wires and the multiplexer look a little cleaner, and I was basically getting them to just contact and stay on. I was getting signals, but I was able to get current running through them, but I think they weren't really attached really well, because if I'd move a certain way, one would come loose and that type of thing. So that it's really not sustainable to do that and leave that in the machine anyway. So I think what I'm going to do is there's going to obviously be another part 3, and then I want to go back through and try to redo the multiplexer, redo the bodge wires to where they're actually a lot cleaner and mounted a little bit better. And again, more importantly, that it's strong enough to hold up, other than just testing it and trying to get it machined and praying that it holds together. I really want to do this the right way when I do it. So I am going to, again, there's going to be a part 3. Again, I tried to get this done, but I didn't. So if anyone's got any suggestions too with maybe with the RAM, if it is that processor, if there's any other suggestions you have with that onboard RAM that I could have, or if I'm going the wrong direction or not, I'd appreciate it. But thanks for watching, and I'm keeping at it. It's struggle sometimes, but I am keeping at it. And but again, thank you for watching, and please subscribe.